We suck. I just kept being like, oh, will you throw this guy? Oh, you will. And this guy? Oh, wow, you will? Oh, this guy? Crazy. Like, I don't understand why they're giving me this guy at all. Just la-da-da-ya-da-da-ya-ba-ba. Alright, so we're done with the draft. I basically did everything that I had said I was planning to do. I made a really shitty team. We suck. I made one huge mistake, one massive oversight, and there were two picks that I really wanted to get to. I did get pretty much everything I wanted, but there were definitely two picks that I just missed out on. Two people I really wanted to get that I couldn't get. I think I can get them, though, in a trade. We'll get to that in a second. But what I made, let's look at this real fast. So, like, look at that. We actually have a really good bullpen. That's something I did focus on a little bit. I did intentionally, when he was still drafting positional players, I started drafting relievers, just so I could get good relievers. And I think I got the absolute best one. He got the second best one. And then I got, like, the 3, 4, 5, and 6. So my bullpen is actually pretty nice. Everything else sucks. My actual closer himself is not very good. Excuse me. No, yes, actually, that's kind of a lie. Because my actual closer is chilling down here in AAA for some reason. He'll obviously be in there, but look at that guy. He's amazing. He's insane. Oh, man. Looking at him. Oh, man. It hurts to look at him because, mild spoilers, but he's one of the pieces I'm going to have to go up in a trade to get the other pieces I kind of want to get. And the loss of him leads to my motivation for a bunch of other trades later, but we'll get to that. So I made a big mistake, and I kind of only drafted 3 pitchers that had the stamina to be starters. Whoops. I think I did technically draft. I drafted this guy. He's got 50 stamina. He's just, really bad and needs to develop. He, for some reason, can only get +5 more, even though his stuff can get +20, his movement's +10, his control can be +5, and then all these pitches can just get jacked. And he's also work ethic, and he's got the intelligence. He's a leader, and he's got low greed. This guy could, be on my team for a long time. The downside is he's already been in the majors for 7 years, and somehow he still hasn't developed this yet, and he's 28, so, it might not work out. But that's why he'll be chilling in AAA, and we don't want him to be a 4th starter for us, and that's why it's unfortunate that I currently only have 3 actual starters. My bullpen, once again, is great, because it's as stacked as it is, and it's without this dude and this dude, who are going to make my bullpen even more stacked once they can actually be in the bullpen. So I need to immediately make some fixes to this to get starters. And there's some things I have in mind to do that, some things to... I have 3, really mediocre starters. They're all 45 guys. I have Jamie Moyer, 47-year-old Jamie Moyer on my team. He's not going to be good. Obviously, he can pitch a lot of innings, but he's not going to be good, He's 47. This dude who, is mediocre, and then this guy who's real bad. He can grow into something pretty decent, it looks like. But he right now is terrible. But he has to be my number 3 because I don't got any other options. But once again, my bullpen is pretty fine. I'm looking at potential right now. Let's look at the actual harsh reality of the situation. Yeah, that's the harsh reality. These guys have a lot of potential. There's a lot more green on here. My bullpen is all currently guys who need to grow into their potentials. All of them, actually. I shouldn't say all of them. Wow, yeah, this guy can be really good once he actually develops. So, yeah, I got a lot of projects in the bullpen right now. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Lineup wise, I don't think we have anybody who's highly rated, right? Who's our best rated dude? Our shortstop, Willie Bloomquist, who I'm gonna move to second base. Actually, I'm not gonna, because he's really good all around, back up every outfield position, which is pretty crazy. But if you look here, he can get better in left and right, but he can get a lot better at second. So he can be a lot better second baseman than shortstop. And I have a quite fair bit amount of... I don't think I have actually... not a ton. Excuse me, I only have one other shortstop right now. But he can back it up at 50. And so he can be the good guy. And actually, spoilers for the future, but there's a trade that I'm going to come in to replace him. And when I move him just a second. And this guy I'm getting rid of in a trade. But we'll get to that. What else is important here? I don't think anything else is super important besides, yeah, we have 2 guys who can play center at 55, which is important. That was very critical. I really wanted to make sure that happened. We got a guy who can play 55 at third, which is good. This guy should be able to get to 55 at second with spring training, I think. And first base, I don't think... Yeah, no, we have 55 at first. That's good. Catcher-wise, we did end up... I think that was part of the draft. I think that's part of the part I recorded. I ended up getting both of those catchers because they're both 55 potentials. Why not? The fact that shortstop... there's nobody who's a 55 shortstop that I could find or acquire was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. So that's where we're at. But that being said, I have to grab my notebook because there's so many. There's a bunch of potential trades I'm thinking of. Oh, actually, before I talk that, let me also point out real quick. These are all my pending offers right now. They're all minor league contracts. Some of them have major league deals if I promote them, and they're pretty much everyone who is in that category is a starting pitcher, essentially. Oh, I guess he is too. Wow, decent first. Oh yeah, he could be good. That's why. So yeah, pretty much everybody who wants a major league contract if I promote my way. This guy's not. He's just a minor league deal. Wow, he's so good. He just wants a minor, or he can be so good. This guy just wants a minor league deal, and that's dope. So I'm doing this because I really need to fill out my minor league system because you only get draft 35 players, and 26 of them are going to be in the majors. So 9. My minor league system has 9 players in it, which obviously is not going to cut it. So that's why we're trying to fill it out. I literally just went through and offered a minor league deal to everybody who even had like a 35 potential, I think. Everyone I could possibly offer a minor league deal to. And so that should fill out my minor league system. But there's also a bunch of other trades I'm thinking about doing. Starting with the Nudists. Trading with our good old expansion team buddies. And this one, honestly, is the deal that to me hurts the most. The Alcoholics. Basically, the 2 guys that I really wanted to get that I couldn't get, that because they drafted instead of me, was Scott Kazmir, because this is him as a relief pitcher. I'm thinking, since he's got the 60 stamina, and obviously I have no starting pitching right now, I would use him as a starter. And his stuff does drop to only a 65 potential, but he would be a 55 potential starter for me. And I mean, if somehow he doesn't work out, he could still be a badass reliever. He'd be an insane reliever, but he could be a good starting pitcher for me, like from the get-go. He's also a lefty, which adds some variety, you know. The one downside is he's got low adaptability and work ethic, so when he comes over to my team, he's not going to be good right away. So he's definitely in the minors to start. I can't put him in the majors. And he has the work ethic of a sloth because he's unmotivated, and he's an underachiever. So he very likely won't hit this ceiling, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't even realize this. The big thing that needs to develop on him is his changeup. And if I know one thing about out of the park baseball, is that the changeup never freaking develops. He's high loyalty, so I mean, like, he would stick with the team. So if we trade for him, might be willing to just chill. I mean, he probably wouldn't be willing to chill in the minors because he has expectation to be on the starting rotation. And he's almost a free agent too. God, I'm talking myself out of this trade. Okay, so theoretically, this was a guy I wanted. Because if this all works out, he'd be a good starting pitcher, and I don't have starting pitchers right now. The other guy was Grady Sizemore, because if all this works out, like, he would have only one minor weakness, and he'd have a great eye with great gap power and still decent home run power, while being a lefty too as well. He probably, if I did get him, I would try and train him in left field, because he doesn't look like he would work out in center much at all. But yeah, he doesn't look like he would work out in center. That being said, he's already 27, and he's got 5 years of experience. So he also would be. Oh God, he would also about to be a free agent. I don't know if I want to make this trade actually, because The other cool guys is like I'd get this relief pitching prospect who could work out really well, and this relief pitch prospect who is for some reason only a 2020 despite having that ceiling. Oh, it's probably he's 29. Shoot, that's probably why he's got high work ethic. Maybe that's why he's willing to give me all these people. Okay, so theoretically this was a dope trade because it was a bunch of guys with good potential who could work out. But as I'm looking at all of them, besides, I mean, this guy's even 26, they're all kind of old. The one reason, God, okay, we're starting out with the Witt is now looking like the dumbest trade, and I might not make it. But I was about to get their second round draft pick, which would be sick. Because then I get the first 2 picks in the second round, which not like obviously the best. But I think that's the last round you can find anybody cool in, or anybody like pretty good in. So it'd be nice to get 2 picks in there. But once again, as I'm looking at all of this, I don't think I want any of these guys. And I'm not giving up anything I really care about as far as these guys are concerned. But this guy hurts a lot because he is a insanely good pitcher. He has no major league experience, so I could literally have him locked down at dirt cheap for 3 years and then pretty cheap for another 3. He's not very smart, which means this might not work out. But he would be very good, very fast for us. But yeah, as I looked at all those options, I don't really know if I want to do that. Because this guy's not motivated, so he might not reach his potential. He's already 26. Not too old, but kind of old. And he only has... And I could, once he develops, I can only use for 1 year, and then I have to sign him to a deal. Which actually no, I can't do that. I'm a poor team. I can't be doing that actually. And then kind of the same with this dude. There's this guy who could theoretically develop, but he's kind of old and might not. And there's this dude who, gosh, I don't think I want this deal. I might have to relook at this. Which, if that's the case, that means actually pretty cool. That means I might keep this guy, or I could throw him in some other deal to get somebody super badass or something like that. And I think I might do that. I might see if I can go get the number 1. Probably see if I can get the number 1 relief pitching prospect for this dude. That'd be pretty cool. Maybe a number 1 relief pitching and another guy. Cool. I don't know. Or maybe a super high positional player prospect. That'd be hard to do, I think. Or maybe just try... excuse me. I'm doing all this just to try and get essentially a starting pitching prospect and this draft pick. What could I get for just your draft pick? Wow, even all that and you still... Okay, yeah, your draft picks is very valuable to you, which makes sense. So there are some minor options I was thinking about doing to be a temporary starting pitcher. And this is how desperate I was getting. But I started looking at people I could just buy. And I could buy this dude who is a not very good pitcher. And if he was a starter, he'd probably be worse. But he has 35 stamina. That was the big thing I was looking into. He could fake it as a starter. And it only would cost me 10K. Cool. And I think... Okay, no. I would have to pay him his complete salary. But it basically cost me 40K plus his salary. So I could deal with that and just have him as just a piece to get by. Yeah, 45, 40, 40. I think that was the best potential option I was thinking of. And then, so for some reason over here, the Braves put insane value in this guy right here, who's a 30-30. And I can see kind of why. He's got insane home run potential with still good gap power and respectable contact. He won't have a good eye. And all he can do is first base. And he's 29, so he probably won't actually reach any of this. In return for that dude, they're willing to give me a 50 overall shortstop with some ceiling. Like, I don't understand why they're giving me this guy at all. Just this dude for the first baseman, like, maybe you might make that trade, but I wouldn't. Because this dude seems better. He has a 60 contact potential, good gap power, respectable eye, doesn't really strike out. Even, like, below average home run ceiling, but he could potentially have something there. He's loyal, and he's not greedy, and he's not even a bad glove. He can pass it, and that's what we need, because I want to move that guy over to second. They want to be that, plus this dude, who is straight bad, but he could potentially, I mean, he has a 50 potential as a starter. Like, he could actually, theoretically, realistically grow into the role pretty well. He probably should be bullpen. I kind of agree with that. And maybe probably just be in the minors. He could pass at the role. We could those bullpen arms I could just fake as starters while he sits in the minors just getting a little bit of growth. And then once he has even a little bit of growth, he could take over one of those guys and I'll just probably just release him or trade him for like a prospect with no future just so I can get rid of the money. But yeah, they're willing to give me that starting pitching prospect. This is the big piece. They're willing to give me this relief pitching prospect with a 65 potential who's already pretty developed. Like he'll just be on our bullpen, I think. He could grow into something good. And then some other guys who aren't as high relief pitching prospects, but they've got some pluses. That guy obviously moves smooth. It's not going anywhere. And this dude, he could be passable in everything. So maybe not. They'll just be in my minor league system probably. But yeah, they're willing to give me that. Plus, they're even willing to absorb some of this money for just this one dude. Like, I'll take that trade every day. And there's a lot of trades that for some reason I just kept being like, oh, will you throw in this guy? Oh, you will. And this guy? Oh, wow, you will? Oh, this guy? Crazy. And one that, like, I literally just decided, like, hey, what would take to actually get this guy, your number one guy? And they were willing to do it. The Marlins. This one, I mean, it cost me a smidge. It cost me my current starting second baseman, but that's fine because there's the other guy that I want to move to second base anyways. It costs me the backup second baseman, not hurting too much there. And it does cost me the guy who's closing for me right now, who does have a pretty good ceiling. Like, look at that. It's 60 stuff potential. He's 27, so he might not reach it, but like still 60 stuff potential while already having really good movement. He needs that slider to come in a lot for this to really be good. And I guess his fastball needs some work too. So yeah, that's why his stuff needs a lot of work. It needs to get some control down. But he's still pretty good. And if I theoretically kept that other guy, he would be my 8th inning guy. So I'm giving up basically my second best reliever, my current starting second baseman, and my backup second. But they would give me this dude. Really nice starting pitching prospect. He's only 24 too. So like he could he's got a lot to grow though. That's the bit of a bummer. And he's already 24, so never mind. That's not. He has high work ethic though, so he might get it. And he's low greed, so if he does, he won't cost me a lot, which is very important. Shoot, he needs to work on his changeup. That's a bit of a bummer. Ooh, and actually, at the end of the day, even if he does get that changeup down, he doesn't have 3 good pitches, so he's probably not a long-term starter. He's more likely a bullpen arm. But theoretically a starter, borderline starter. I see that. I could see that. But potential starting pitching prospect who might just be a long reliever. And then a bunch of other relief prospects, like, are really good ones too. Like this guy, 65 potential, a 60 potential, and a 55 potential. Who's already pretty developed, and would have really good movement. Ooh, that guy costs money. It's a bit of a bummer. But the big thing with this is I'm giving up these guys. I'm getting back 4 pitching prospects. But they also are willing to give me this dude, who is the number 23 prospect in baseball right now. I won't say a god left fielder because he can't play the field too well, but he's probably my DH, like, right off the bat. But dude, he's already got really good gap power. He could definitely just play for us immediately on our team. He has no major league service, so I think I'll probably put him in the minors to start. Oh my god, he's smart too, so he can reach his potential. So I think I'm going to put him in the minors just for the sake of service time manipulation, of course. And then bump him up to major league status probably pretty quick. But yeah, this guy could really hit. This guy could be incredible for us. Look at this. 60 contact, 75 gap power. I wish, with all his gap power, I really wish we were playing in the ballpark for Las Vegas for the Alcoholics instead of us, because the Alcoholics have like a plus like 1.2 on doubles and plus like 1.3 on triples. So this gap power would really play in that ballpark. So I guess if this guy when we go to the Alcoholics ballpark, we'll probably crush it. But oh homie already has 75 gap power and 65 I with 50 avoid K. Already developed with 50 contact. That's going to grow. And his home run power is super weak, but it can grow all the way to a 60. So, and he's smart, so he can make it happen. So this dude on our team would be awesome. And there's none of these guys. None of these guys are worth this. I don't think all three of these guys together are worth that guy. Maybe all three of them together. Maybe. But, yeah, this was just a weird one where I just kept adding on stuff. And I'm like, wait, will they throw this maybe? And then I'm like, wait, what about this guy? And it just kept working out. The Orioles. So the Orioles are willing to give me 3 good starting pitching prospects for just money, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 10 for... This was another crazy one to me. I came in here trying to get one dude for 10K. And I'm like, well, would you throw in this guy? And they just kept saying yes. And then I even went in so far as to make them take all the money for the one dude I was trying to get. So I'm literally losing only 10K for a 60 potential relief prospect, the number 97 prospect in baseball. That by itself. A 55 potential reliever who literally, he has one thing to work on. He's not going to be amazing for us. But they're willing to give him to us for free, so I'll take it. And then this dude with a 60, he's already pretty developed. He can pretty much pitch in our system, or in our majors right now. He's got the work ethic, loyalty, and low greed. And he's got a 60 potential. He's already got the stuff. He's already there. He only needs to work on his movement and his control. God, he can be... And he's angry right now because he doesn't like the team he's on, I'm sure. Transactions. Your expectations will be fulfilled. You should be happy, and you could develop very well. He's going to pitch in our bullpen. For sure. So we have a guy who's going to be in our bullpen right away. And then 2 guys who are going to be in the minors, I think. Well, this guy for sure. This guy theoretically could pitch in our bullpen right away, but I don't know if we're going to need him at this point with how many trades I'm making for relievers. Oh, yeah. The Reds. Oh, another crazy thing. So, on top of all that from the Braves, on top of all this, for a measly $10,000, they are willing to give me this dude too, who's already developed to a 40 and has a 60 potential. Ridiculous. No reason for them to give me this guy too for 10K, but they will, so I'll take it. The Reds, another dude. They're just willing to give me this dude for 10K. Sick. He's only 45 potential for some reason, despite these ratings being as high as they are. I know the control is weak, but I don't think that's that big of a deal, me personally. And yeah, they're willing to give me for 10K, and I can just put him in minors and forget about him. See if he works out, see if he doesn't. So I'll take it. And then Texas, and this is the point where I started to look into, hey, what would it take to get some really top level prospects? And I just kept going mad with potential relievers. So if I give Texas this guy, a middle reliever who's a 45 overall with 50 potential, not a big deal considering how many guys I'm trading for, and could pitch at the major league level already too. And they're willing to give me this dude who has a 70 potential. He'll have perfectly good control with 65 stuff and 70 movement. Crazy. He even reads in spare time, so he's probably smart. He probably has high intelligence. He's a number 73 prospect. And then Tampa, they're willing to give me the number 57 prospect, another high-level reliever. I do have to give him my starting center fielder in order to make it happen, but I'm totally willing to do that because, yeah, I'd have to give my starting center fielder, which does hurt a little bit. He also is backing up right field primarily. But this dude is the same in center field. He's not as good of a hitter, I don't think. I don't remember. I don't think it doesn't really matter. All that matters is defense in center. He's super fast too. So he'll be exactly the same in center. This dude will just be my left fielder, and it's fine. He won't be good. But obviously, I mean, I showed you that guy I'm going to trade for, so left field will be covered. And then backup right is not a big deal because this dude can back up right just as good as he can back up right. So we're good there. Totally good there. So I can make that move, and yeah, I can get rid of him, and I'd get the number 57 prospect in baseball, who is a 75 potential reliever, who would have 75 stuff, 60 movement, and 70 control. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And with the guys I am going to have as the coaches and staff in my minor league system, he should develop really fast. His adaptability is high, and the other things he's low in, or all the bad traits aren't a huge deal to me. His intelligence and work ethic is not on here, which probably means they're just average, which should hopefully not be a deal. Hopefully that means he just develops normally. Yeah, that is every potential move I'm thinking of making. Minus potentially... Yeah, you know what? So, this was the first... Oh yeah, well, it's gone now. But this move with the Alcoholics to try and get all those guys. That starting pitching prospect, Grady Sizemore, the center field prospect who realistically should probably be playing left instead. So he would theoretically be the guy I would... Him, all of a sudden I don't want anymore because I'm trading for a super badass guy in left anyways, and he wouldn't play center because I have better defenders there, and he is clearly somebody who would work out better in left field rather than center. And maybe he should. Actually, maybe that other guy should be a DH. Okay, what would it take to just get Grady Sizemore? Could I trade you all this for just Grady Sizemore? You're pretty close to accepting it. I think all these guys I don't want to give them, so let me see if I absorb more money, give me more time to consider, and then what if I give you $1 million? Oh my god, you're still like dilly-dallying. And there's nobody who's lower than those guys that I can give you. Maybe once I potentially acquire some of those minor leaguers and like really fill my system out, I could include somebody that I don't mind giving up. So I guess this is the one move we're just not gonna make, which is fine because that means we keep that superstar, our basically closer for the future, with no minor league or with no major league experience, who I think he could just be our franchise closer forever, honestly. Besides the fact that we have obviously those other superstar studs in our system, or we would have those superstar studs in our system. Man, I really do want Grady Sizemore. Do I want him this badly though? I mean, okay, I don't want any of these guys, but there's potentially, there's just better theoretical guys I think I could get than that. Okay, so you'll do it for this dude, but I don't want a control freak. So I think I'm just not going to make this trade with the Alcoholics. I'm going to keep these guys. I don't necessarily want to keep these guys. I kind of want to... I might look into just seeing what other type of deal I could potentially get for this type of package. Yeah. I don't know. I think that all being said, I probably shouldn't make any of these moves until these pending offers go through and I actually have my scouting director and I actually know how well these guys could or couldn't work out. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to real quickly look into maybe seeing what kind of deal I can get for that reliever. Seeing if I can move him off for somebody cool. Probably not, but maybe we'll see. That's where we lie right now. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make pretty much all those moves except for obviously the Alcoholics one. So actually, I should probably make all those moves and then see how I feel about the one with the Alcoholics. Yeah, we'll see. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get drunk. And then I think I'll be more in the mindset of how to communicate properly with the Alcoholics. So we'll do that, and we'll see where we lie in the future.